Hello, everyone. Welcome to Confidence Leads to Success interview series with me, Elif Köse. I am really excited to introduce you this phenomenal woman I get to interview. Nancy Matthew is a leadership, sales, and marketing expert known as the One Philosopher and the Visionary with Guts, whose unique blend of creativity, business savvy and exceptional understanding of human behavior causes audience far and wide to sing her praises, and I am so honored to have her here. She is actually a six times best-selling author and sought after international speaker and global leader who has shared the stage with today's top talk and business leaders and has been regularly featured throughout the media. And I have got her with you here with me, and she's actually a single mother of two. I believe they are now grown up, Nancy, and
Yeah, they're grown up, but they don't go away, which is good, which
of
is good.
course they don't. Welcome, really good to have you here.
Thank you so much. I am honored and grateful to be a part of this beautiful experience that you're
It
creating
is
for so many
so
people.
exciting to have you. I know you know this firsthand how to juggle many demands in your time and energy, and I'm so excited for you to share your experience and expertise with our audience so they can just take your wisdom.
Well, thank you. It's really a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited, especially for every single person who's tuning in to listen to this. What I'm excited about is what's about to happen for you next. So, thank you for bringing all of these beautiful experts together to support that positive change for all of the people that you're impacting.
Thank you. Do you know what I've noticed throughout my entrepreneurial journey as a fashion designer and a transformational confidence coach? I notice a lot of women and men probably, but I'm more interested in women at these moment in my time that we seem to find it really difficult to get out there and feel confident enough to step up. And having experts like yourself who has really done incredible things on their journey, I'm here to really share your greatness with these women to just see that is what is possible for them so you can lead the way. So I'd love you to, I'm going to quickly actually ask you something. I
Okay.
come from a family and we are full of entrepreneurs, and I found it really difficult to work with my siblings. And I've got to ask you, you work with your sisters. How is that for you?
I do work with my two sisters. We are the co-founders of Women's Prosperity Network, and we are truly blessed that we all get along really well. And I would say the key factor in that success is two things that come to mind right away. Number one is we have similar values. So obviously we value family, and we also value communication and honesty and integrity. So having similar values and being able to communicate with one another with love and compassion, even when we don't agree.
I like
So
that. It
those are
is
the
really
big things.
important, especially if you're working in partnership. I get a lot of inquiries from like women who work together with like their
Mhm.
sisters or other business partners. And I like what you said there. Having similar values actually help to make it sustainable.
Exactly, exactly. Because if you have similar values, even if you go about getting to the result differently, you all want the same result. And as a matter of fact, it's so funny. Sometimes we'll be in meetings talking about what we want to do next with the company and the community and what workshops or coaching we're going to offer. And my sister Trish will come up with an idea. And it's like, no, no, no. And then my sister Susan comes up with an idea and it's like, no, 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 that's not the way to get there. And then I might come up with an idea. And my sister Susan years ago came up with this analogy. She said, 2 + 2, Trish is saying 2 + 2 = 4. Nancy's saying 3 + 1 = 4. And Susan is saying 0 + 4 = 4. But we're all saying 4.
Yeah.
So I
I
think
love that.
part of the key in any partnership, whether it's sisters or business partners, whatever that is, are you all going for four? And as
Yes.
long as you're going for the same thing, those other ways to get there may be very valuable. So just take a look at that.
I love that. It's a really good tip. Um, I'm just going to ask you, and because you said you created this business together, and and what you are doing with Women's Prosperity Network is beautiful, but there are loads of wonderful networking groups out there. What makes you unique, apart from these three amazing women working together?
Yeah. The thing we hear back most often from our members in our community is the level of deep connection that happens quickly when you come into our community. And I believe that's derived, and it wasn't intentional, it was a byproduct of who we are as sisters and leaders. I believe that comes about because when you come in, we welcome you as family that we love, because there are some families that don't get along. I get that.
Yeah,
But when you come in, the thing we hear most often
chosen
is,
family.
yeah, I feel like I'm home. That's what we get.
Oh,
And
oh,
it
I
says,
love that.
you know, it's a safe space to grow and expand.
I love that because there's nothing more empowering than feeling belonging into
Mhm.
place.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
feeling that you're taken care of and you feel like you're home. It's so
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So when did
And
you start? When did you start?
we started Women's Prosperity Network in 2008.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what did you do before that?
So before that, in 2002 is when I went into full-time entrepreneurship by myself. So at that time, single mom, two kids, and I opened a real estate investment company, mortgage company, and title company. So I quit the job that I had working at a law firm and went full-time into my own business 20 years ago. And in that business, what was interesting is that I wanted to have freedom and be my own boss and all of those things we dream entrepreneurship is going to be, right? And
That's
then
right.
dream is the answer.
The dream and reality.
Exactly, exactly. And right off the bat, the business was very successful. It grew to $1 million in revenue within 2 years. Like out of the gate, things were going well. And about 2.5, 3 years in, I remember waking up one day and I'm sitting at my desk and I have, you know, real estate closing scheduled and phone is ringing off the hook and all these things are happening. And I'm sitting in my office and I'm feeling all this pressure. And
Mhm.
I thought to myself, you know, I'm in business for myself, but this isn't the life I meant to create. So I slowly in that time frame began exploring, who am I and what do I really enjoy and what do I want? Because I ended up recreating the job that I had in my own business. I became my own employee, really is what ended up happening.
Yeah.
So that's when I began my journey of self-discovery and what really matters to me and what is it that I want to do. And it was through that process that Women's Prosperity Network was born.
I love that. The questions you ask yourself to get clarity of what you want and
Mhm.
who you are is what what actually gives confidence to so many women. Who am I? What do I enjoy doing and what do I want?
Yeah,
It's that self-discovery is actually very powerful.
yeah.
So
There's
what
can
would
I
you
add,
say?
I
Go for
wanted
it.
to add, yeah, I'm sorry. I wanted to add one thing in there because I think what happens for lots of people, especially women, is that when we're going through this beginning phase of our life, 20, 30, 40-ish,
Mhm.
somewhere in the 30s and 40s, I know for me and many of the women that I've coached, you're so busy taking care of everyone else, you forget to ask the questions about what you need to take care of you.
Yeah.
And that's really, you know, we
That
end up,
hits you when you hit your 40s, doesn't it? You
it
realize that you've
does.
been carrying all these all these responsibilities of
Mm.
others, and then you realize you haven't really looking after yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
It's it's a lot of women in their 30s and 40s realize, and there is no age limit when you should start your entrepreneurial and create the life you want. But the sooner you ask these questions to yourself and have that self-discovery journey to yourself, things come up easier. So
Mhm.
in working with women, what would you say the number one thing they're looking for?
They're looking for fulfillment, to know that they matter, that they make a difference, and that their unique set of skills, gifts, and talents is creating a change for themselves and their families and their communities and then the world. So we all, as human beings, and you mentioned this before, that sense of belonging, we all want to know that we matter. And women in particular, when you go through that phase, for me as a mother, my children started getting older, they needed me less. I was like, okay, now my time as a mom is done. What now? Like, I did good there, right? I feel good about that. What's next? And I
Yeah.
think that's where, as you said, asking those questions of ourselves will lead to that next level.
A lot of women, I don't know if you notice this. Do you hear them saying, "I don't know what I want. I'm not
Mm.
quite sure what is my gift."
Yes.
How do you navigate that?
Love that. I love to guide women through an exercise to help discover that. And it begins with focusing on the things that you most enjoy and do naturally. Your gift is actually hidden in that. So if you're listening in right now and you're in that place, my invitation is that for the next 7 days, keep a journal and just write down every time you're in the midst of doing something and you really enjoy it. It could be cooking. It could be working on, writing letters to people. It could be playing in Canva or some other graphic design. Just start noticing the things you enjoy. It might be walking your dog, might be playing in the garden. Somewhere in there is the clue, that which makes us most happy and is the fullest expression of our desires, right? Somewhere in there is the gift. And one of the things that can stop people from being successful is they don't know how to monetize their gift, or think monetizing it is some way sacrilegious.
That's so good. Yeah, I hear that all the time,
Mhm.
and being able to actually find that direction, it can be quite hard, especially after you're in your, after you've had children, like you said, they don't need you anymore, and you don't know which way to go. It's a really nice tip. It's
Mhm.
real wisdom. I'm going to ask you, I know you are the founder of the People Skills Academy and
Mhm.
Women's Prosperity Network. I want to ask you, where did the Visionary with Guts come from? And what is
Mm.
it all about? Who
Yeah.
is in there? Who
So,
should be in there?
yeah, yeah. So when we first started Women's Prosperity Network in the first few months, we were hosting an event. My sister Susan was introducing me to come up to stage. And she said, I'd like to invite up my sister, Nancy. I call her a visionary with guts. And I'm on the sidelines and I'm going, what is she talking about? And she went on to say, and I hadn't seen myself this way. So here's another clue for us all in building confidence. Other people see your greatness sometimes way before you do, right?
That is so
So
true.
surround yourself with those people. So anyway, she introduces me, Nancy, my sister Nancy, the visionary with guts, and she goes on to share that lots of people have visions and dreams and goals, but not everyone has the guts to go for it.
That
And
courage to go and
the
follow their
cur
heart.
exactly, because it's scary. It's definitely scary. You can fall flat on your face. As a matter of fact, when we started Women's Prosperity Network, I fell flat on my face to the tune of about $50,000. So that might be a story for another day. I don't know.
Well,
But
I'd love you to share a little bit with us because it's so inspiring. Because what everybody thinks, they're going to start a business, they're going to start receiving six figures every week.
yeah,
And it doesn't
no,
work like that always. So it would be really amazing if you did share it with us if you would like to.
yeah, I'd be happy to share. So I had the real estate company and I was doing all that investing. And I went to a conference to learn public speaking because I was not good. I was terrified. My knees would knock, my throat would close. I was not good. And, the fact that I do this for a living now is, you can turn around too. I'll just share that, right? If that's a fear of yours. So I go to this event, and I'm doing real estate. I had started doing seminars and trainings and coaching, teaching people how to buy and sell properties, my sister Trish and I. And I'm at this conference, and the gentleman in the front of the room says, there's not enough women in this room. Out of 80 people, there's only 10 women here. We need more women speakers and more women leaders. And we need women who are acting like women, not women acting like men. And something happened to me that day, and I could feel in the pit of my
That
belly.
gives me goosebumps
I
the way
know,
you
right?
said it. I
Woo.
love it.
Turning points, right? We look at these moments in time. So as
Yeah.
I'm sitting in my chair and he's speaking this from the stage, I felt something in the pit of my stomach swelling up that caused me to jump out of my chair and say, "That's me."
Yeah.
And then I
Oh,
kind of
it gives me goosebumps, Nancy. I love it. I almost feel it as if I was in the room.
yeah, it was amazing. And I when my hands in the air, I'm like, is that me? Who's doing that? Right. So in any event, after that portion of the event was over, a woman came up to me and she said, "I'm starting a woman seminar company with 4 women leaders. Would you like to be the real estate expert?" And I said, "Yes, obviously I'm being led on this path." And they had a business model that on paper looked like it was going to make us $1 million in the first year. And I'm like, "Hey, you guys know this business? I'm all in." Blah, 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 blah. About 4, 5, 6 months into it, I started getting clues that maybe this wasn't going to really work.
Hmm.
And in truth, I did not listen to my intuition. And
The guts that knows it all.
I didn't listen at the time. So in any event, we everything we were doing in this planning phase was building up to this huge event in Los Angeles, where, here's a clue about marketing, nobody lived in Los Angeles. We
Mhm.
had no market there, and suddenly 500 people are going to show up. Like, I don't know how that was supposed to be. Anyway, the event was a flop, cost a lot of money, and I was sitting on the plane on the red eye to come back from Los Angeles to Florida. And I was dejected and sad, and I was feeling like a failure, and all that stuff that just wells up inside of you when things don't go as you hope.
Mhm.
And I remembered a conversation that I had with this woman called Kathy Dudek, who has now passed away. And when I shared the vision of what this women's community and support system was about, Kathy said, "Yes, please." And I'm getting goosebumps remembering
I
this.
know, me too.
She said, "Count me in. Whatever you do, I'm there."
Oh,
And while the business model was flawed, the idea was sound. The idea would make a difference. So we went back to the drawing board and created a new way to bring it about. And there we've been for the last 15 years.
it's so beautiful that you shared that because these kind of things can happen. You might start something, you might organize a massive event thinking you're going to fill the room up with 200 people. And
Yeah,
if only 5 people turn up, don't feel like a failure because this happens. It happens to
yeah,
all of us. What you need to do is really focus on what your big vision is
yeah,
and just learn from it. And what you've done, instead of giving up and going back to what you were doing, you've actually created an incredible network group.
yeah, it's
Is going
beautiful.
to do what you were hoping from these other group.
Yeah, it's and when the COVID hit back in early
Mm,
2020, March of 2020, when here in the US everything shut down, people were in despair. Obviously, the way that you've created your livelihood is suddenly not available, in addition to all the emotional things we're dealing with. And right out of the gate, I taught a course, and it was about hold your vision, so you don't change your vision. What all you do is shift your strategy and pivot, which is kind of an overdone word now, but it's just about shifting your
yeah,
strategy. So hold your vision and just shift your strategy, because your
yeah,
vision is about creating a difference in the lives of people who need what you have. Trust that that seed and that desire to make a difference that's been planted in you, trust it. And just maybe there's a different garden you need to go to, or maybe, there's sometimes rocks that help with the irrigation system, right? Like we think rocks are no good, but maybe they're good.
that's right.
Yeah.
I love that. Just trust your intuition and just follow your heart because there are people who need your gift. I love that. I love it. It's so true. I always say that there are people out there waiting to hear your
Oh,
gift. And yes, I agree. There are hundreds of other people, maybe millions of other people are doing almost like what you are doing, but nobody is you. Nobody
mm,
delivers like you. Nobody, maybe they just want to hear it from you.
yeah.
It
And,
is so important.
I love that you shared that, because that's one of the things that can tear down our confidence a little bit. And it's comparing ourselves to others, which is amplified by social media. So I can look on social media and let's say, I'm a coach, right? A marketing business consultant. I can look and see all the other people who are business consultants who seem to be, making six figures a month, and I'm not at six figures a month yet. How come? What's wrong with me? Like, that could easily turn into that silly
Yeah.
conversation. Go within, remember that the people that you're meant to serve are part of what you might refer to as a soul group. Just like we have unique fingerprints,
Yeah.
each one of those is going to match up with a certain set of and group of people that you're here to serve, and will interact, and just keep taking one step and another step, and celebrate the small successes along the way. Really,
Yeah.
really key to remember to do that.
I love it. Thank you. I'm just being nosy and I can see the one philosophy behind you. Is that the new book you're about to launch?
Actually, this book originally came out. I love that you're being nosy, which means I did placement of the book very well. So there's another tip, everyone.
Brand placement.
Yes, exactly. They do it all the time. We should be doing it for ourselves, right?
That's right.
Um, so the One Philosophy, the first edition of that book came out in 2013. And over time, I've learned, I've grown. And so I did a second edition. I don't remember the year I did that. And then just last year, I released the third edition of the book.
Mhm.
And that's my big higher purpose. That's why I'm here. So our community and culture of Women's Prosperity Network is built on the One Philosophy, which is all about treating each and every person that you meet, no matter where you are or how you meet, treating each and every person the same way as you do when you think someone is the one.
I love it.
So if as you hear someone who's the one, perhaps, like, what comes up for you when you hear, oh, they're the one? What do you think about that?
As a thought leader, I always think of Oprah Winfrey. She's the one for me.
She's the one that can help amplify your message and get you
Yes.
reaching millions and millions of people. The one could be a business partner. The one could be your best friend, your spouse, somebody who's going to get you hook up to tickets to see Bruce Springsteen. Whatever it is, oh, they're the
I'm going to
one.
come to that. I'm so excited to share that with our audience at last.
We'll get there soon. We'll get there soon.
Yeah.
So what I noticed years ago, is that when we think, and this is an experience I had, when we
Mhm.
think we're in the presence of someone who's the one, we
Mhm.
tend to pay more attention, listen more closely. In essence, we place more value on them. And
True.
as and here's what I noticed. When we're placing more value on them because we think they can do something for us. And that when I had that realization about myself, I didn't like it. And then I recalled, this I had met a television producer here in Miami. And we just happened to meet on one of the online classes I do. She wanted to write a book. I'm getting ready to go consult with her about her book. And then I was like, oh my gosh, maybe she's the one that can help me get a TV show. And like, I started getting all wrapped up in
Mhm.
me. And I thought to myself, wow, Trina is her name. I just happened to meet her. And because of the way we initially interacted, I was interested in her and what she was up to before I knew anything about her. I treated her as the one, which allowed this other opportunity to open up. So I started an experiment that day, and this is 12 years ago, of treating each and every person I meet with that same level of excitement and enthusiasm as I do is when someone's the one, because everybody is the one.
Oh,
So
this is such a treat. What you're sharing is so important because I get to meet so many people. They're waiting for someone they want to tell them that they are great,
mhm,
almost to feel validated,
yeah.
to feel they are great, they are what they're doing worthy, they are enough. You don't need to know that, do you? You need to have it in you.
Well, and you need to have it in you. And the magic of the one philosophy that opens this beautiful portal of magic and possibilities and synchronicities is
Mhm.
when you show up to be the one that values others.
Love it. Love it. Oh my God. I'm sure everybody who's listening is now going, yes.
Right, because and you know what? Here's what I've discovered teaching this for the past 12, 13 years. I teach on it everywhere I go. I speak about the one philosophy, and the response I get is just like what you're experiencing, and the listeners I'm sure are having right now. Everybody's
Mhm.
like, yes, I believe that. I want to be that way. I try my best to do it. But this person betrayed me. That person's an idiot. Did you hear who they're voting for?
Mhm.
So we get into the block of really that true connection because of things that have happened to us in the past. So I created the People Skills Academy as a way to provide the tools and resources to actually be the one on a more consistent basis.
Yeah, the level of confidence that would provide you, there's
Mhm.
nothing would stop you. You would
Yeah.
become unstoppable with that level of confidence. I love it.
Yeah.
I know you haven't got much time, but I really have to talk about this. I know you're a lover of music and a long time fan of Bruce Springsteen,
Yes.
and I really want to hear your I know you've written a co-written a song with Fizz Anthony, Everyone
Mhm.
is the One.
Yeah.
And you want to sing it with Bruce Springsteen, don't you?
I do. That's my dream and my vision.
Let's make it happen. If anybody can do this happen,
Yes.
this
Yeah.
is the moment we're sharing. We're sending the message to the universe.
Yes, yes, yes. And so here's another tip for everyone. I was doing a vision activity. What do I want? And just kind of, streaming all the things that I would enjoy. And I had come out with the second edition of the One Philosophy. So in my mind, I'm imagining that I'm on all the talk shows on TV being interviewed about my book. And I was on a talk show the same night Bruce Springsteen happened to be there, and we sang a song together. So that was the vision that I
It's
came up
gonna
with.
happen.
Yeah,
It's going to happen.
it is going to happen. And that what I want to layer in there is I had that vision, and then I took inspired action in terms of, well, if that's who I'm going to be, singing on stage a song about the One Philosophy with Bruce Springsteen, I better learn how to sing. So I started taking singing lessons.
Oh,
If
I
I'm
love
going to
it.
be the person on stage singing a song about the one with Bruce Springsteen, perhaps I should have a song. So for whatever big dreams you have, consistently take small steps to lead you there, and it will happen. And
Intentional,
it'd be
intentional.
intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So anyway,
love it. Be ready for it. Be ready for your big
yes.
dreams so you're
Yeah.
ready to receive it. I love it.
Hmm.
So inspiring, Nancy. You are absolute stunning woman. Thank you so much. I'm going
Oh,
to
my
ask you
pleasure.
last question because I
Mhm.
always ask this to everyone I interview. What does confidence mean to you?
Confidence means trusting myself. At the end of the day, it's about really trusting myself, my ideas, my actions, and that I am not just, it's not even that I'm good enough, I'm more than enough.
I am more than enough. I love it. Thank you so much. And thank you for
Well,
your
thank you.
beautiful, generous gift. I'm going to share it on the show notes. It is $50 worth of gift. It's three meditations to tap into your
Mhm.
power so you can be the one.
That's it. That's what we're
Love
all
it.
about. Thank you so much for having me, and kudos to everyone listening in. Get out there and experience your greatness because the world needs it.
Thank you so much,
You're
Nancy.
welcome.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope to see you on the next episode. Take care.